Thanks.
Man, does anyone get tired of seeing this grown man lose to absolute grade schoolers? No, but in all seriousness, it has been a while since I've seen the discourse surrounding Wordgirl. I remember watching it as a kid and being quite fond of the show. It is only until now, however, that I've seen people on the internet start to bring the show back up and talk about it as of recently. Typically in the context of power scaling, funnily enough. Once more, I've been recently watching The Boys, another prevalent superhero show that has a Superman-like character with insane abilities and powers that just so happens to be the villain of the show. So I'm sure you can guess where I'm going with this. Two superhero shows with an overpowered main character of sorts. Yes, Homelander's the main character, don't find me on that. And the amount of videos power scaling the characters from The Boys, specifically Homelander, has been absolutely insane. Like seriously, they'll pit this man up against anyone. Hell, I even seen him versus the Wildcrats before. So that got my mind pondering, wouldn't it be funny to see him go up against Wordgirl? But it just kinda remained like a silly little joke inside my head, until I actually started seriously thinking about it and went like, oh wait a minute, I'm pretty sure Wordgirl could actually take on this guy and it wouldn't even be that close of a fight. So that's what this whole video is about. Let us take a look and see if Wordgirl, this 11-year-old superhero, could take on one of the most menacing and despicable villains in recent memory. Starting off with Homelander, his power scaling is pretty well known at this point in time, but I'll just give the basic rundown for those of you who actually have lives and don't spend every waking moment thinking about this. Put it blankly, Homelander is stated to be the strongest character in his world. This would mean that he would auto-scale from the feats of other powerful characters in his verse, including Soldier Boy, who tanked a point-blank shot from a Temp-V-empowered Butcher in his laser vision. Now in all fairness, he did take a little bit of damage from this, but keep in mind that Soldier Boy could withstand oxyacetylene flames without taking any damage, with oxyacetylene flames easily reaching temperatures of at least 6,300 degrees Fahrenheit, or 3,500 degrees for all you non-Americans out there. Keep in mind that this temperature is about half as hot as the surface of the sun is, and it's used to melt through steel pipes and linings, as you can see here, and Homelander's durability upscales from this. Even if you wanted to make the argument that he doesn't necessarily take from the same feats of the other characters, Homelander's DNA literally comes from Soldier Boy, as he was meant to be his replacement, so it is what it is. If you want actual durability feats from Homelander himself, there is the infamous scene of him taking a point-blank explosion from a chemical plant and having little more than just small scratches on him. This feat has been capped to be at multi-city block level, with Homelander needing to take 1.046 times 10 to the 9th kilojoules of energy in order to tank it in his body. And he gets out of that rubble like he just got farted on. This is by far the most impressive durability feat from the man, with all other characters' durability feats leading to this consistency, with the aforementioned Soldier Boy feats, with him even taking a blast from Starlight, and even being capable of surviving radiation apparently. Yeesh. Oh, I also forgot to mention Queen Maeve tanking the explosion from Soldier Boy at point-blank range, which he also survived, so that should count as well. It's also stated by a character in this show that there's no weapon on planet Earth that can defeat Homelander, which, if she is to be taken literally, that would include the Tsar Bomba, the strongest nuclear weapon on the planet, which is well over 50 megatons of energy, by the way. But it is likely that this is just a hyperbolic exaggeration, as from the damage we have seen him take in the show, there's nothing that would imply he would be able to tank such force of damage. I mean, who knows, this could just be promotional material for VOD. All that being said, it should be pretty obvious that Homelander scales at multi-city block in terms of durability. But how about strength and speed? Well, let's start with the former. Another infamous line for Homelander's power scaling was, I quote, "He could wipe out New York City, Des Moines, and Modesto off the face of the map for fun." Assuming it takes about 3 megatons of energy to destroy a city, and the distance between these cities being 4,000 kilometers in total, if we assume that Homelander meant that he could destroy these cities fast, like in minutes, then the total energy output for this feat would be more than 13,000 times the total energy output for the entire Earth. This is obviously a highball estimate if you want to wink Homelander further, but I use this assessment of him in the fight anyways, just to prove that it doesn't really matter and that I'm not lowballing him. By the way, that 13,000 times would count only for the energy output, not both speed and strength respectively. For that, we're going to have to turn to other feats. Homelander's overall speed is capped out to be around Hypersonic Plus from multiple calculations I've seen. The basis for this speed have come from the feats of him saving Billy Butcher from the explosion of a Madeline bomb vest, which is capped out to be around 20 meters per second if he's just dodging the explosion, and a high-end speed of 343 meters per second if he's dodging the actual shockwave as well. This isn't even his fastest speed feat, however, with Homelander being shown to fly faster than an F-16 jet, which can go at 1,500 miles per hour. easily making him supersonic plus speeds. Seriously, there's this belief that A-Train might be faster than Homelander, and I never knew where this belief came from. He is easily blitzing him. But yeah, that's pretty much it for speed. Now onto strength. I already mentioned the city leveling feat, which again is a highball. But for some other feats that show off Homelander's just raw, pure strength, once again he's fought with Soldier Boy, the other overpowered Vought creation, in single combat with a temp V empowered Butcher, who once again, Oxyacintylin lasers, and he was not only 1v2ing them, but winning and having the upper hand. Then there's the feat where he threw a football into a small plane with so much force that the emergency landing was required, him casually one-shotting Black Noir, who again survived the same chemical plant explosion, and him being able to rip a human being clean in half, with this feat requiring over 10,000 pounds of force. These feats easily place him at multi-city block level, with the huge winks maybe putting him at small city scale level. Now y'all might be thinking, wow, that's pretty impressive, don't you think? At Homelander's highest ball, he's able to tank a nuke, destroy multiple cities in less than 5 minutes, and move faster than 78 times the speed of sound. Surely this grade schooler shouldn't stand a chance against this fully grown man, right? Right? I'm pretty sure if you clicked on this video, you already know the answer. Betty Botsford is an alien from the planet of Lexicon. Because of this, she has all of the powers and abilities of her alien heritage, that including superhuman strength, speed, frost breath, extreme durability, with her being able to stand next to the surface of the sun, and something that doesn't get mentioned nearly as much, her super intellect, with her knowing the definition of every word in the English language. On top of that, she is also capable of flying in space, has super hearing, is able to survive cosmic radiation, and also having a little bit of Toon Force with her casually talking to the narrator of her own story. I haven't even mentioned other stuff like her self-healing factor, and the ability to breathe underwater, something Homelander can't even do. But let's get into the actual feats themselves, shall we? Let's start with, say, durability. Wordgirl is casually stomped on, crushed, and thrown through multiple buildings throughout a majority of the show. She's fought with the giant energy monster with the power of an entire city and receives nothing more than a static shock that messes up her hair. This extremely impressive one where she catches a meteor about to crash into the city with her bare hands, barely showing any type of struggle or injury. But of course, her most impressive feat of them all is in her fight with Miss Power, where she is thrown back to Earth, survives the forces of the re-entry speeds, and then is caught again before hitting the ground by the same villain, all while tanking the extreme changes in velocity and acceleration, all in about 1 second of time. To put that into perspective, the amount of energy that Wordgirl would need to tank from this feat is about 3.5 gigajoules of energy, or getting struck by lightning 4 times at the same time. But at this point, that shouldn't come as a real surprise to y'all. She's literally been next to the sun before. By the way, I'd like to mention that we've never actually seen her take any damage in the show before. I know it's a kid's show, but we've seen other characters actually get hurt in the show before. How about that attack potency then? Well, as I stated earlier, she casually was able to catch a meteor, which easily puts her at island level plus, but that's not even her most impressive feat, hilariously enough. No, in my opinion, Wordgirl's most impressive feat strength-wise was when she was able to casually kick one of Toby's massive robots to the sun in what looked like 2.5 seconds. Keep in mind you, that the distance between the Earth and the sun is about 93 million miles, or about 150 kilometers. Safe to say that this kick here that she does casually just from getting a little bit angry is like a small nuke of energy being directed into this one kick. This feat easily puts her at small planetary in my opinion. I don't know why people downplay her to just Island Plus when she's clearly capable of more than that. I mean, she wasn't even trying here. Last but definitely not least, we have speed. And oh boy, it just gets worse and worse for Homelander here. Remember that highball of Homelander I gave, which was 1.5 Mach speed? That came from him outspeeding an F-16 flyer jet. But in this scene right here, you have Wordgirl take this giant robotic part, and I kid you not, take it from the moon all the way over to the surface of the sun in what seems like was less than a second. I already said that the distance between the Earth and the sun is 93 million miles, but if you add on the distance from the moon to the Earth, which was about 230,000 miles, that would equal to about 93,230,000 miles that she traveled in about a second. The speed of light is only about 186,000 miles per hour, so at this calc, Wordgirl's speed would have had to have been over 500 times the speed of light. Yeah, that flyer jet feat ain't looking so impressive now, buddy. Homelander would be lucky to even see Wordgirl hit him, much less actually have a chance of fighting her. Are you kidding me? In this episode of The Boys, Homelander struggles and fails to save a commercial airplane full of people from falling into the Atlantic Ocean. It is heavily implied that he could not pull this feat off by himself, which is why he let these people die. Well, Wordgirl's meteor feat in this scene alone is about 72 times that of the airplane itself, and she did it casually while arguing with somebody. Yeah, guys, it's not even close, I'm afraid. But with that concludes the power scaling. I hope you enjoyed this little hypothetical, and tell me what your thoughts are on the Homelander versus Wordgirl debate. I just find it so funny and fascinating how these adorable kids cartoon characters are actually some of the strongest characters in fiction when you really think about it. I would love to tackle other characters from known works like Nicole from The Amazing World of Gumball and the Powerpuff Girls. Their scaling is insane. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.